In Kiev, Ukraine, resides a tough MMA fighter named Yuri Boyka. Renowned as the best in Europe, he holds the prestigious title of undisputed champion. One night, Boyka engages in an underground brawl in Kiev's shadows. Amidst roaring spectators, he dominates his opponent, dodging every blow effortlessly. With a swift midair kick, he sends his rival crashing to the ground, knocking him out cold. The scene shifts to a high-security prison nestled in Russia's heart. Here, inmates engage in brutal fights for the amusement of guards and wardens. These matches may seem harmless from the outside but turn vicious with certain contenders. The most feared among them is a hulking brute named Koshmar, infamous for his savage nature. To prevent him from causing harm beyond the ring, guards restrain him with chains and muzzle his ferocity. Koshmar's latest victim, much smaller in stature, stands little chance against his monstrous opponent. With a brutal slam, Koshmar snaps the man's neck and continues to rain blows upon him until his face is unrecognizable, drenched in blood. Koshmar's track record speaks volumes. He shows no mercy, leaving a trail of death in his wake. He's less a man and more a merciless beast, devoid of remorse. In stark contrast, Boyka leads a different life outside the ring. Despite a troubled past marked by years of imprisonment and being a wanted man in Russia, he strives to turn over a new leaf. Engaging in charitable acts and assisting the local church in Kiev, Boyka endeavors to be a force for good. However, a moment of reckoning arrives when a priest confronts him with an unexpected suggestion. Though the priest has always backed Boyka's talent, his advice to consider a different path catches the fighter off guard. Defending his stance, Boyka sees his fighting prowess as a divine gift, refusing to abandon it. His aspirations now aim towards professional fights rather than the lawless underworld bouts of his past. In the afternoon, Boyka's manager delivers exciting news. Boyka can finally step into the ring for legitimate MMA matches. The European Fighting Tournament in Budapest has given him the green light to compete. The crucial qualifying match arrives soon after. Fully aware of the stakes, Boyka gears up to give it his all. His opponent, Victor, a Russian fighter, stands across the ring. The match kicks off, with Boyka landing the first solid kick. He showcases his defensive prowess in the initial minutes, skillfully dodging every blow thrown his way. As Victor grows increasingly frustrated, Boyka seizes the opportunity to launch his own offensive. Impressed judges watch from the sidelines as Boyka floors Victor with a powerful knee to the jaw, securing his qualification. Though many assume the match is over, Victor stuns everyone by rising to his feet moments later. Despite being knocked down again, Victor refuses to surrender. Frustration mounts for Boyka, prompting him to deliver a decisive blow to Victor's face, rendering him unconscious. With the victory secured, Boyka receives an invitation to compete in Budapest, promising a host of new opportunities. His manager hands him a wad of cash, urging him to train rigorously for the upcoming match in 2 weeks. As he departs, Boyka catches sight of Victor in critical condition. Guilt washes over him for causing such harm, especially considering Victor's resilience. Recalling the priest's words and Victor's remarkable recovery, Boyka wrestles with guilt throughout the night, plagued by nightmares of fatal outcomes in the ring. The next morning, he seeks out his manager for news on Victor. Shock sets in as he learns of Victor's passing overnight. Despite contractual obligations absolving him of blame, Boyka carries the weight of responsibility in his heart, knowing he played a role in Victor's demise. When asked about Victor's family, the manager hands Boyka a bag belonging to Victor. Inside, Boyka discovers a letter from Victor's wife and their photo. Reading the letter, he empathizes with her pain upon learning of Victor's death. Moved, Boyka resolves to apologize to her and ensure she's doing okay. He knows his past actions won't be forgiven easily, but he's determined to seek redemption. Boyka confides in the manager his desire to travel to Russia to meet Viktor's wife, but the manager strongly opposes the idea. Being a criminal in Russia, Boyka risks imprisonment if caught. Despite the dangers, Boyka remains resolute in his decision, even though obtaining a fake passport could jeopardize his MMA career. In the next scene, we meet Alma, Viktor's widow, mourning at his funeral. She's alone and burdened with debt owed to a crime boss named Zurab. Zurab shows up at the funeral, suggesting Alma become his mistress to settle the debt. Disgusted, Alma cautiously declines, opting to work hard and repay the debt in installments. Alma runs a community center built with Viktor's money, serving orphans and those in need. Upon arriving in Russia, Boyka seeks out Alma but witnesses her being taken away by Zurab's men. He learns she works as a waitress at Zurab's underground fight club, where Zurab controls her like a possession. Later, Boyka visits the fight club and finds Alma. When he tries to talk to her, Zurab's men intervene, forcing Boyka outside. Wanting to avoid violence, Boyka politely inquires about Alma's work schedule. The gangsters attack him for his audacity but soon realize they've underestimated a skilled fighter. Zurab watches Boyka's impressive fighting skills and sees an opportunity to recruit him for his club. However, Boyka clarifies that he's not interested in fighting, he just wants to meet Alma. Despite Zurab's offer to intervene on his behalf, Boyka insists on leaving to find Alma himself. Once Boyka disappears from sight, Zurab instructs his people to keep an eye on him. The next day, Boyka sneaks into the community center to meet Alma, delivering Viktor's letter to her. Alma confesses she'd rather work elsewhere but feels obligated due to debts. Upon reading the letter, she questions Boyka about witnessing her husband's final fight. Boyka admits to being Viktor's opponent and explains the accidental nature of his death, but Alma refuses to hear him out. After this encounter, Boyka agrees to fight for Zurab under the condition of putting Alma's death behind him. Zurab promises protection from the authorities, aware of Boyka's use of a fake passport to enter Russia. Alma confronts Boyka, rejecting his pity and urging him to leave. However, Boyka insists on fighting for personal satisfaction. Later, while training at a local gym, Boyka defends himself against a bully with a swift kick. The day of the first match arrives, with Boyka facing a local fighter. Despite some feeble attempts from his opponent, Boyka dominates the match, opting not to deliver the final blow out of mercy. Afterward, Alma serves drinks, and Boyka seeks recommendations for a better gym, dissatisfied with his current one. Alma ponders for a bit before extending an invitation to him to use the gym at her community center. He takes her up on the offer, hitting the gym regularly, and Alma gradually becomes accustomed to his presence. Boyka's next bout surprises him. It's a 2-on-1 against a duo of brothers. He's taken aback because he wasn't briefed on this arrangement. Zurab, the man in charge, asserts that it's his arena and everyone must play by his rules. As the match kicks off, Boyka finds himself struggling to fend off both brothers simultaneously. Every time he focuses on one, the other strikes, making it difficult for him to gain any ground. Despite the odds, he manages to shove one aside and knock the other down. In the brief moment of respite, the battle evens out until a blow to his already injured lower back nearly cripples him. Just when the pain seems unbearable, he spots Alma in the crowd, and that sight fuels his determination. Rallying his strength, he defeats both opponents with a powerful double knockout, much to the audience's disbelief and elation. The following day, Zurab approaches Alma, attempting to flirt with her. When she rebuffs his advances, he accuses her of being involved with Boyka. To further incite her, he insinuates that her husband's death wasn't an accident and suggests Boyka was responsible. Although Alma pretends to dismiss his claims, they trouble her deeply. Meanwhile, Boyka receives an urgent call from his manager in Ukraine, summoning him for a press conference regarding the upcoming fight in Budapest. Boyka requests a postponement, citing his final fight as his top priority. Upon returning to his room, he finds Alma waiting for him. She implores him to reveal the truth about her husband's demise, prompting Boyka to recount the hardships he's endured in life. He confesses that winning the match against Victor was his ticket to a better life, but Victor's death left him with a profound sense of loss. He understands the difficulty Alma faces in accepting his help but pleads with her to allow him to do what he must. As night falls on the eve of the ultimate showdown, Boyka faces off against Igor, Zurab's top fighter who has been taunting him since his arrival. Igor harbors particular animosity toward Boyka, viewing him as a threat to his status within the gang. He unleashes a barrage of relentless attacks, targeting Boyka's weakened lower back. Despite the onslaught, Boyka mounts a fierce defense, ultimately turning the tide with a devastating midair kick. He pummels Igor until he's battered and bloodied, leaving him unconscious on the canvas. With this win, he clinches the whole tournament, settling Alma's debt. Yet, Zurab had foreseen this and arranged for another challenge. He halts Boyka, disclosing that one more fight awaits him to fulfill their agreement. Though Boyka has a crucial career meeting in Budapest in a few hours, he refuses to leave without rescuing Alma. So, he requests the manager to postpone until the next day and prepares to face the final opponent. His adversary is Koshmar, a brutal fighter who has slain all his rivals in the Russian prison. Due to his violent reputation, Koshmar enters the arena in chains. The bout commences, but Boyka is already worn out. Despite his efforts, his blows barely affect Koshmar due to the latter's formidable physique. Koshmar lands numerous punches, leaving Boyka struggling on the ground after a jaw-cracking kick. With defeat looming, Boyka summons his remaining strength, rising once more. Yet, Koshmar swiftly overwhelms him, sending Boyka crashing down again. Just as Koshmar seems poised for victory, Boyka surprises him with a powerful kick, shifting the momentum. Seizing Koshmar in an arm lock, Boyka snaps his arm before tossing him out of the ring. Finally victorious, Boyka prevails in the match, but Zurab refuses to release Alma. Zurab orders his henchmen to assault Boyka while he attempts to flee with Alma. Seeing Alma dragged away, Boyka, fueled by rage, fights back, eliminating the guards. He confronts Zurab, disregarding his own gunshot wound, and strangles him to death. Despite Alma's attempts to aid him, Boyka insists on her forgiveness. Subsequently, the police arrive, arresting Boyka. Before being taken away, he implores Alma for forgiveness once more, receiving no response. Boyka returns to a Russian prison. A month later, Alma visits him, granting forgiveness. Boyka experiences relief after months of turmoil, despite his dream of becoming a professional fighter remaining unfulfilled. In the final scene, Boyka continues to fight in the prison arena, retaining his status as the undisputed champion. Turn on alerts, like, and subscribe for more videos similar to this one. Thank you for watching.